Dusty, snap out of it!
Any of this look familiar?
Our constellation contact is on approach.
Yeah, but come on. Exploring space? Who does that anymore? Ain't the space we've already got complicated enough?
Welcome aboard the Starfield Report podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Starfield Report podcast. I am your host, Kenny Smyson, and with me, as always, is Jax. How you doing, Jax?
Doing great. Good morning, captains.
And today we've got a treat for you guys. We have another interview with mod author Sweet Pea. How you doing, Sweet Pea?
I'm doing great. It's nice to be with you.
Yep, thanks for joining us. We're going to be talking about some of your mods today and Starfield. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and start off with a little get to know each other, and specifically with Bethesda related stuff. So actually, Sweet Pea, let's go ahead and start with you. If you can give us kind of like a two minute history of your experience with Bethesda, kind of where you started with them, and why you like playing Bethesda games.
Oh, wow. So I'm a retired art teacher. I taught art and I taught computer science. Mm-hmm. And I've always been interested in games and gaming. My husband was asking me last night. I was watching, that sample interview, and I was like, oh wow, my first game. I didn't even have like a hard drive yet. I had 2 floppy drives, and it was King's Quest 2 was my very first PC game. Do you guys know that game?
It vaguely sounds familiar.
It was like text
box. Yes. And what's funny about that is I had to learn how to type, because if you fell in water and you didn't type swim fast enough, you would drown. You'd be dead. And so I was terrible at typing. Like I would sit there and look at the key, and like hunt and peck, and I had to learn how to touch type so I could play my first video game. I mean, it was kind of funny. But yeah. I was definitely a Lego kid. I like to build things. My husband would even at Christmas would buy me a set of Legos, and over the break when we had off, we would build the Lego kit. But for me, the building part of it is what's fun. So I hand it off to somebody. I would make it and be like, okay, the Harry Potter Lego set. All right, kids, it's yours now. And they love that because they would play with it.
I think we were having a chat the other night, and I think we had kind of come to the conclusion that the kids, the modders, you find out if you start digging a little bit that they're the ones that played with Legos, and they're the ones that played with erector sets, and they're the ones that played and made the racetracks in the backyard and did all of this super creative stuff. Yeah. As opposed to just go like maybe kids that did sports. Sure, they're doing interactive, but it's a different kind of a thing. And so the very super creative kids are the ones that end up doing this modding stuff.
What's funny, so and it's Bethesda was just a no-brainer for me as a kid who would walk from room to room slaying monsters with I had this fishbowl that I got from, my school bazaar that was trying to raise money. I had this little fishbowl. That was my magic ball. I had my mom's tartan blanket over my, I was the wizard going from room to room.
That's awesome.
So, Bethesda was a no-brainer for me. And my first Bethesda game was Skyrim.
Okay.
And it was one of my kids got it for Christmas. And what's funny about it is it was already a year or 2 old. It had not just come out, and it was majorly on sale. And so we're like, well, when you get a new Xbox or you get a new. I'm pretty sure it was an Xbox because we never had a PlayStation, but we had an Xbox, and you're like, you buy this thing, and then all the games that the kids want are $50. You know, they're all, every single game is $50, and I think Skyrim was like $10. And we're like, oh, well, throw that one in. You know, you get the one the kids want, but then you get a couple other ones too, and you just throw them in the basket when they're inexpensive. And so Skyrim was not what we were trying to get. We were trying to get some other game, but we threw it in there. But that was the hit. That was the one that the kids, you know, were playing, and it was already really popular. They would pretend sneak around the house, you know, like
All crouched down.
I mean, when they were like, it was just really funny. And after they, you know, for me, I just was watching them play it, you know, because you can only play it one at a time. And then finally they're like, well, Mom, come and play this game. You're going to like this game. And so, oh yeah, so then I was into it, man. And when they would go to bed, I would be playing, you know, Skyrim. And then, and you know how when you play a Bethesda game, you get sucked into the vortex and then it's 2 a.m.?
Yep.
Yeah, that happened to me more than once. And, you know, and then the kids are like, my mom is level 100 in Skyrim, you know? They just thought that was funny. But
yeah, I do. I know exactly what you mean. Is you'll be watching the clock and it's 8 o'clock. Okay, well, I can play a little longer. I just need to get over to, you know, the next town. And then you look up and it's 11. You're like, man, I got to go to bed soon. And that's when it happens. Then you look up at 2 o'clock and then we're like, oh my gosh, I got to go to bed.
Oh, yeah, go into one of those dwarven dungeons.
Yeah.
So, but then the other games I liked to play was Minecraft, because I would build things. So at the time I was homeschooling my daughter, and we did this thing where you could do history in Minecraft. And so it was like a server. It was like a safe server. The kids would talk to each other. It was like a, you know, a class, and they would do assignments on there, like the 7 wonders of the world, and you have to make the pyramid, and they would make the pyramid and write reports on it, you know, and put them on the little posts. And but so we had another Minecraft server that we would go to that was a family friendly server, and I would make these enormous houses and castles for my daughter, and then she would play with them. So that's kind of how I always was. Like, even today, the mods that I buy are mods that add building features. And if you notice, while everyone else is making pre-decorated houses and things like that, I'm taking all the decorations out of the houses so that people can decorate themselves. You know, and that's what I like to do. Like, when people are like, well, I'm never going through the Unity because I don't want to, you know, have to rebuild my ships or my house. It's like, no, for me, that is the fun part. And once I've done everything, that's when I go through the Unity so I can go do it again.
Yeah.
So
I've been modifying and building basically the same ship since September of 3 when the game came out, when Starfield came out. And so if you look at all of my spaceships that I built, they're just like an iteration of the last one, a little bit different, a little bit more complex, a little bit more, you know, streamlined or right. And I've gotten to the point now where I've named the ship. It's like the Avant-Garde version 3.1. And that's the one, that's what made me start really seriously thinking about modding. Is okay, I do want to go through the Unity and I want to start over and I want to do all this stuff again. But I really like the way this ship has come out. So I need to build this ship in the CK, save it, and then turn it into a mod that then when I get to the next universe, I can go find this storage hangar where the last Jax Wiley in that universe stored his ship, and I'll go come into this universe and I'll go find it.
that's funny.
That's the idea of the mod. But then I'll have that ship, but then I can also start over and clean out my save and clean out all of the bloat and start fresh and make new ships.
Yeah, and so my first mod was basically me wanting something in the game and trying to figure out how to get it. So my first mod was the empty sleep crate, and I was doing all of the quests in Neon, and I wanted to be able to, and I was pretty low level at the time. And so when I got a gun from doing one of these quests, I wanted to be able to fix up the gun and make it better. That. And I don't know if the sleep crate is so small, you literally cannot drop any pieces of furniture in there. So what I discovered was, I just Googled it online, how to use console codes. Because I thought if I could just remove the bed, and that's really all I was trying to do. I was like, if I can remove the bed, then I could put a workbench in here, because I'm not going to sleep anyway. I don't really care about that, but I do want to be able to do this stuff. And so I found out how to do it, open up the console, click on what you're trying to get rid of, and type in disable, hit enter, and it should go. So what I discovered in doing this was that all of the furniture in that little space is one pack-in. It's all one thing.
Oh.
And so I pointed my little thing at this little pipe that I was trying to get rid of, disabled it, and it was empty. And I was like, score!
Well,
I was like so happy.
Oh, that was easy.
I know. I couldn't believe it. I was like so happy about it. And then I kind of was like, if I want this, then other people would like to have this too. I can't be the only one. And so I, learned how to turn it into a mod, and then, it was like, probably a couple weeks later, it was Thanksgiving break. And I had a little time because our school, they take the entire week off at Thanksgiving. It's not just, it's not just, like through 2 days or whatever. So I had some time. So I did the second one, which was Walls of Starfield. And what's funny is I look at that now and I'm like shaking my head because, I have one item per, line in the list. I didn't know how to do variations yet. Yeah, so I look at that now. But you know what? 48,000 people there's 48,000 downloads on that. So
for the walls of
I
Starfield.
would ruin someone's game. So if I redo Walls of Starfield, I would have to just completely start over and do it from scratch.
Okay. Call it something else. Premium edition.
The premium edition, right? Yeah. So the premium edition, and I might do something like that, but I think anything. This is going to be my big furniture mod, tailored spaces, which I'm working on right now. Mm-hmm. So, but there's a lot of mods out there right now, furniture mods that just add vanilla assets to the game that are just
like Better Living 1 and 2.
Correct.
Yeah.
And Nen's Deco Pack, she did add some custom things that aren't in the game. But I'm gonna do all of the things I'm gonna add are gonna be custom pieces that aren't found in the game.
Nice. So
that's what I'm working on right now. And it's gonna be big. It's gonna have a couple hundred pieces of stuff in it. I'm working on modular bookcases that are I'm gonna have themed ones that are, here's like, maybe if you're doing a pirate playthrough, you can use these. And if you want to make Cora a bedroom, there's a plushy bookcase, or, just all this different stuff.
A bedroom in the lodge so she can just stay there the whole time?
Yeah. Well, she actually has a bedroom in the lodge. And what's funny, she actually has two, because the storeroom where there's nothing in there that I used for Noelle's greenhouse, mm-hmm. That storeroom that I turned into like a little kitchen kind of area, it it is marked as Cora's bedroom. There's a
Interesting.
marker there. Yeah, there's a
Oh, when you're in
marker
the
there.
creation kit, you can see that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited to get starting to mod, but it's going to be Thanksgiving, I think, before I get to it.
Well, you know what happens? You make yourself a crate. That's the gateway drug. You make yourself a custom loot crate, and all of a sudden you're a modder.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a series on YouTube with I can't remember the gentleman's name that made it, but he's got an intro to modding, and it tells you how to modify your ini file to start with, and then save that as a separate file, and then populate that with all of the stuff.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
and-
I used that video. That video.
And what's that video on YouTube?
He's a
sorry?
British gentleman.
Okay.
You mean the
Gopher?
British gentleman? I'm not sure. I can't remember what his name is.
Gopher has one, but the one I'm thinking of, let me look it up real quick right here. Let's see here.
He's someone that does a lot of Skyrim mods.
Okay.
The video I'm talking about.
Yeah, Gopher's done a ton of Skyrim stuff. He's like, when I first got into using mods on Skyrim a few years ago, that Gopher was the guy I watched videos on, and it was pretty intimidating at the time because back then Vortex wasn't up and running, but you still went to the Nexus website, and then you had to download. There was that loot order program, but now Vortex does it all. It was definitely more intimidating back then, and I was like afraid of breaking my game, and because I hate losing stuff, and I hate just having to start a new character just to start a new one. You know, I like having multiple characters. My first Bethesda game was Oblivion, and I had my first character, a Nord. I played like 236 hours. I always remember that number, and I did every quest with him, and it was the weirdest thing in hindsight. Like, this guy is like the master of everything. And then, so by the time I got to Skyrim, I had matured because I'd also been playing some D&D, and so I rolled a new character for each major quest line, right? So I had my warrior, I had my mage, I had my thief, and I get a lot more fun out of the game when I create a new character. And in particular, that first 20 to 40 levels of any new character is always the most fun, just that struggle in the world, because once you get high level, you're kind of god mode in a lot of these games.
Yeah.
And then you lose that challenge.
So I found the tutorial. It's called Starfield Creation Kit Tutorial Series by J. Ramos Works Creative Gaming.
Oh,
So
yeah.
J. Ramos is the guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've definitely looked at a lot of his stuff. So
Yeah. And he walks you through step by step by step. And it's kind of very dry if you're just trying to sit on your couch and watch the videos. But if you're sitting on your couch watching the videos with a laptop, and you're going, okay, step, pause, do that thing. Okay, pause, do that thing.
Okay.
And that gets you all the way, like you said. The very first video, or the first two, are the total instructions, all the way from nothing to having your fun crate that you create and put in the world somewhere. So, and there's your first mod. You're like, oh, I did it.
yeah.
I made a box.
And the only thing he hasn't done how to make constructible objects, and that's one thing I wish I had, but I did figure it out. And my on Thursday, my podcast was all about how to make your own constructible objects. So
I mean, constructible objects.
Constructible objects are objects that when I open up the build menu in an outpost or in a player home, that I can make that object. It appears in the build menu and I can make it. Like Fireside. So I came from Elder Scrolls. I played Elder Scrolls for like 9 years. I have a lot of player homes that people will still come and look at, because I would make an entire castle, or or I made a Christmas village for one, and I made from scratch all these other buildings and put them around, and had themed. They were all themed. One was like a blacksmith, and one was like a a magic shop, and I had floating crystals, so there were like effects and everything like that. So that's what I came from, when I started playing Starfield. So I love the fireplaces, and there's only one fireplace in all of Starfield, and that's in the lodge. And
Okay.
so I was like, I want a fireplace. I want to be able to make my own fireplaces. And then one person, the person who did the Stroud SPE put fireplaces in there, and I loved that. And I was like, I love this, but I can't just sit here next to this fireplace. I want to be able to make my own fireplace.
Yeah.
And so I made 12 constructible fireplaces that you can place, and there's like a pirate theme one with the little Crimson Fleet logo, and so I learned how to use decals and all kinds of stuff doing that.
So Kenny and I were having a discussion about that particular fireplace. Is that logo on behind the fire on the brick wall inside of the fire mantle, or is it on the glass in front of the fire?
The decal is actually in between the glass and it's actually on the brick.
So it's like the inside of the block.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you look at it in the CK, it looks like a big arrow. And there's actually quite a few decals on every one of those fireplaces, because if you look down at the wood, it depends on which fireplace you're looking at, but like the ash that's on the kind of outdoor fireplaces, the ash of the wood, that is a decal. Okay. And also there's like a decal that makes it look like burnt wood, and then so I was sitting in the Dark Star Discord one evening, and someone was like, I want one that's a cooking station, and I want it to have a spit with meat on it, and so I made one that's actually a cooking station and I took that gross tissue, like when you kill an animal and you get tissue. I took it and I made it huge and I put it on the spit, and it's just gross and funny. I mean, I put blood decals on the on the little area, and a big knife and a couple of beers, because if you're doing that, you're probably drinking a couple of beers. Let's face it, Yeah. And they loved it. They loved it. So this one guy was the guy who he said, every one of my cooking stations, I'm going to take them out and put this in instead. I just thought it was so funny.
So the mod that really brought you to my attention, Sweet Pea, is one that you've most recently came out with, I think. And it's called Immersive Workbenches by Sweet Pea 704. And this, I do a lot of shipbuilding, and in a ship, you're very constrained for space. And so all of your workbenches are these giant, big box workbenches that if you're in a home setting, you got plenty of room to space those out, and they fill the room out. In a spaceship, you got very little space. So you intuitively figured out that if we could take those big boxes and shrink them down to something that we can place as a placeable item, it would be so much more handy. When I saw that, I was like, oh, this is perfect. So here I've got shared here some of the photos, some of the pictures of this mod. And so we've got here the galley. These are all galleys, right?
And so each of those is a separate galley, just to have something that looks different.
Each one of these is a galley. So they all do the same thing, but depending on how you want to set up your room, you might just want a cooking pot, or maybe I like the blender one. I think this is pretty cool for smoothies. So
the pot, the idea for the pot I got was because when you go into some of the vanilla houses, the stoves don't work. Yeah. And I thought, well, if I just put this pot on the stove, now it works. So
I'm going to put it
And
right next to my captain's chair in my cockpit.
yeah. And the other thing was when I use Galactic Harvest, I'll put her little gourmet stove, the one that looks like a camp stove, and then I'll put the little sandwich thing right next to it. And there I have both galleys, hers and the normal one.
Okay.
So I had a little trouble with this, and when I first downloaded it, and being able to figure out how to use it. So you want to tell people how they find it, how they use it, where it is when they download the mod? Where do they find this?
When they download the mod, it's going to be under crafting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be under crafting. It's about halfway down, and I believe that the microwave is the first one that you see.
Yes, and that's why I didn't recognize it, because I thought that was a vanilla set piece.
Oh,
So I'm going, golly, there ought to be something that says workbenches or something somewhere, and I couldn't find it. And that's when I got on that evening with you, and I was like, these are great, but I can't figure it out, and I can't get them on my ship. And you're like, yeah, they're there, and they're at this location, and yes, they are available on your spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, well, actually, the one that's a microwave, I got the idea for that. The Falklands cockpit, which is my absolute favorite cockpit, and there's a little counter where you have like a coffee maker, and that microwave fits perfectly right by that.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I made it where it fits perfectly right there.
So we've got this one is the what is it?
This is for research.
Research. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I loved it that you made a little laptop as a research laptop.
Yeah.
So that you had that was slides right onto a shelf. You can have existing shelves inside of a hab and slide that right on top of there.
Like I'll just put it on the arm of a chair.
Right.
The bed is too low, but the arm of the chair works. And the one that has the microscope and stuff, the reason I did one that was kind of old school looking is because I like to use Z Ogre's terminal, that you can buy resources on it. And so I'll put the old school research bench there, and then I'll put Z Ogre's terminal, and it just looks like a desk, a decorated desk.
Right.
So,
okay. No, I'll have to look into that one. I don't know that mod from Z Ogre.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It sells all the resources, so.
I'm definitely going to have to put these research stations to use, because like one of my favorite things to do every time I go through the Unity is build a new small ship. I'm a PC player, so I'll usually just give myself, say, 100,000 credits. But then I'll have the research station always on my ship, because I like to, as I was going through the Unity through the universes multiple times, I'd want to at least make sure to spend a little time every universe doing my research. And it was always frustrating to always have a workshop on my ship. Or let's say, I'm trying to remember, I think the only other, the Frontier Hab, which is the all-in-one berth A, is the only other hab that has a research station in it, right? I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always so annoying to have basically two habs if I wanted like a bedroom kind of lounge area, but then I've got to have my big bulky workshop. So
yeah.
Now I can just put a computer right there on the dining table or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this workbench that you're looking at now, these are the two workbenches for, working on weapons. And I did a Laredo themed one, and then I kind of did one that had heavy weapons and melee weapons, different kinds of weapons. I think the Laredo weapons are very attractive, even if they're not very powerful. So I think they're good decorations.
Yeah.
So
I just recently found out that I can't remember what's the Laredo, the regulator. It's got a binary trigger. And if you use the Dark Star mod and you upgrade that all the way up with the binary, that thing is That's a pretty powerful pistol. It's pretty fun to play with.
Definitely.
So, all right. So that's the weapons. This one I think is going to. Yes, I like this one a lot.
Yeah, what my favorite, the one that I use the most myself, is the one with the helmet. And it, where I like to stick it on top of a dresser. So I'll put a little dresser down and then put that next to it, and then maybe drop like an outfit or something that I'm not going to wear, and I'll put that right next to it and decorate around it. Or a space suit that I'm not really using. One thing, like you see there's kind of like a little box area where that little helmet and stuff is, where you could kind of draw like a little square around it.
Yeah.
That basically encompasses the activator. So what's great about what I really wanted to do with my mod that's different from other similar mods like Misso's, is that I used a very small activator so that you can actually decorate around it pretty easily. And so that was something that I wanted myself. I was getting frustrated because I was using invisible workbenches, and I would put something in back of it, like, let's say this little thing here, with armor, and I would put drop an outfit, and how you have that little canvas box that looks like it's a package kind of thing, and I would put it in back of there, but then when I would use it, the activator would move it and throw it on the floor. It would, havoc would work on the items that I tried to place around it.
Okay.
And so that's why that was one of the things I wanted to accomplish when I was making that mod, was to make the activator as small as possible so that you can decorate around it. Like you can actually put that helmet, you can put it on the side of the Laredo thing where it's actually a little bit on the mat, and it'll still work, and it won't be a problem. Like you can overlap them. Yeah, you can actually overlap them slightly.
Yeah.
So you can make it look like one big thing. All 4 workbenches. You can put all 4 workbenches and it kind of look like one thing. And I think I kind of have examples of that in some of the photos. So
the thing I like about these is how, even though you functionally only need one, they're so diverse that I could easily see myself putting multiple of the same type of workbench just because they look great. They're like great set pieces and decor at the same time.
What's funny is I actually find myself doing that. Like I'll use the laptop over in the corner, and then I'll use if I have a desk somewhere, I'll use the microscope and the books and stuff, or put the little tiny chem bench. What's funny is when I was doing a quest and I found the chem bench in the back, and I was thinking, if you're in an outpost in some crazy part of the galaxy, or you're not going to be able to go to the store and maybe buy this, or you're not going to have the space to put all these fancy workbenches, but you might have the space to have these little things and kind of MacGyver yourself, some kind of workbench. So I actually was thinking that, and also I wanted to add the actual products that you raise on your outpost. I thought that would make it more visually interesting. When I finished it, the one in the back, the really big one, my husband said, that looks like something you'd see on Breaking Bad. And I was joking about that in Dark Star Discord. And so now everyone calls that the Breaking Bad, chem bench. I just thought it was funny. And so then Angry Mechanic, he sent me a little video of him wearing the hazmat suit from head to toe. and then he went over and was working on that workbench, and I was just laughing. It was so funny. But I'm glad that people enjoy it, and
I think video.
So, I was definitely getting like a Fallout vibe from that pharmaceutical lab with all the it just looks like a post-apocalyptic somebody trying to make their little chem lab so they can make their jet and their their other drugs.
Yeah, and I played 76 and Fallout 4, so that's valid. So for sure. Okay.
Yeah, I really like this one also. What I did with it was I took both of those smaller, both
Hmm.
this one, and put a little room between them, and then I put the research tablet between them, so it looked like you were researching chemicals and researching different, your different meds and pharmaceuticals and whatnot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so all of these are available at both Outposts and in ships, right?
Oh, correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
just clarifying.
so this
Industrial.
one is, yep, the
Oh,
industrial benches.
yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. So obviously there's a big chunk of aluminum there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is that the little pile of dirt underneath, that it was literally would have been like the size of the floor in your hab. I mean, it was huge, and I shrank it down like really small, and then plopped a little piece of aluminum in there, and then I put that. My daughter is a welder, and so when I was excited to find that little welding device, and I added that to there. That's homage to my daughter, Emma, and I figured you would need different tools for this kind of industrial workbench. You would need like a chisel and a hammer and stuff like that.
The little
And
box, collection box to put your sample in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then you got the one that I use the most is probably the one that looks like a toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
But then I also made one that used like robot parts. NEM's Deco Pack has some static robots.
Okay.
And what I'll do is I'll put one of the little static robots there and then put that little bench, put that next to it so it looks like you're working on your robots.
Okay.
So I just think that's fun. Maybe in an outdoor, one of those little shelters or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was the one mod that really excited me to get a chance to speak with you. Is there one that really speaks to you, Sweet Pea, that you'd like to talk about while we get you here?
My favorite mod of mine right now is Fireside.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I put I put those fireplaces everywhere. So I put them in, I put them in my ship, especially like in my captain's quarters. I had a lot of fun making that. So I came from Elder Scrolls Online and then I played 76, and in both of those games you have fireplaces.
Yep.
You have them everywhere, and it's funny to me that you only really see fireplaces in the lodge. That's really the only place you see one. And so what's funny is if you look at the one it's not all there, but the second fireplace that has the mandala in the background of it on the brick.
Oh, yes.
That one, that is the lodge fire. It's the lodge fire, and it is the little sticks, that is from the lodge.
Okay.
So I think I did add extra sticks, but to flesh it out a little bit. But so these fireplaces are completely unique. They're what you call kit bashed. So what I did was I went in the kit, and first what I did, I made kind of like a mood board. I went online and I Googled gas fireplaces. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I found all these different, styles of gas fireplaces. Some of them were modern, some of them are more rustic. The one that you're showing right now, that is an actual working cooking bench. So a friend of mine said, "Hey, I want a one that's a cooking bench that has a spit." And I was like, "Okay." And so pipe part, those are what you call greebles. And they're all the little like pipes and things that you find in Aquila City. And so that's actually this little piece right here, this cooking bench has something like 30 different pieces to it. So I have a little door there with a handle that's something else. So that's your little wood box down there. There's a grate on top. And then just those pipes, just the pipe part of it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different pieces that I had to like, pull up and to the pixel, make everything, fit and work and everything. That took me an entire evening. I probably worked on that between 6 and 8 hours. And I think I restarted it twice. So it has decals on it. If you look at the top of it, there are decals on it that make it look like it's burnt, like where you could see where the fire came up. And there's blood on it and a knife. So, and a couple of beers, because let's face it, you were probably drinking a couple of beers.
Oh, yep, the beers in the back there. Yep.
And then there's this little thing called tissue, like when you kill an animal in Starfield, sometimes you'll collect tissue and it might have different properties, it might be a stimulant or it might be nutrient or something. So I took one of those tissues, and I think it's actually biosuppressant. You can actually, not right away, but if you leave and come back, you can actually take the tissue off of there and just put it in your inventory. But if you do that, if you want it back, you're going to have to delete it and put it back.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So, and what's interesting there's 2 fires in the Starfield creation kit. One of them has smoke. So you see this one has smoke.
Okay.
But most of my fireplaces use the other one that doesn't have smoke. So like this one doesn't have smoke.
Yeah, because the smoke would like come out the top of the fireplace. It would like break the immersion of it.
Well, what's funny is I actually thought of that and I added vents to the top of it so that the sparks have somewhere to go.
Okay.
So this is the one that I probably wrung my hands about the most, because I was trying to decide whether to make it something that you could snap to the wall or not snap to the wall.
Okay.
And I was like, what should I do? What should I do? So what I did is I made it the exact dimensions of the wall shelf. If you see, it's exactly the dimensions of the wall shelf, so that you have the choice. Because if you make something where it only snaps to the wall, you cannot put it on the ground.
Oh,
it will not let you. But but if you make it where it's something that snaps to the, that it goes on the ground, you have the choice of putting it on a shelf and hanging it on the wall. And I've actually even discovered, so Misso Plays Furnish Your Fleet, that mod, which is a free mod, has a silver industrial shelf that this fireplace fits perfectly on.
Yeah.
And so it's silver. The shelf is silver and just looks beautiful. I love it. So that's what I always use now to put it up.
That mod you just talked about, Miss O's Furnish Your Fleet. That's the one that I like to put. There's like a galley countertop with cabinets up above it.
Yeah.
And then a countertop, and it's just empty. Nothing there.
I use that all the time.
That's the one where I set all of your workbenches on that on one side, and then I put the Dark Star stuff on the other side, and then I put the big Dark Star benches in the middle, and that pretty much fills out my workshop, so that I can have like 8 different workshop benches in a spot where there would only be like 4.
And this particular fireplace, this is my favorite one. I like the black one better, but it's the one I use the most. But this one in particular, this one. I use this all the time. So in the Watchtower apartment, I take out the television and I put this fireplace in instead. And this looks like, when I was telling you I was Googling gas fireplaces,
Mm-hmm.
this looks exactly like one that I made. And what's funny is this is made out of the bottom part that has like the little lines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a greeble that is like a power box. So that is like a power box of some sort, like a circuit box.
Yep.
And then the rest of it is made out of in Vay Victus's apartment, okay, there are some shelves in back of Vay Victus, okay? And I took the boards from the shelves and I material swapped them so that some of it was silver and some of it was black. And so it is entirely made out of those shelves. And then I added the fire from the lodge, and then the little wood pile from the lodge, and then the light too, the light from the lodge.
Okay.
So you have this little bit of fireplace, and I made it where it fits in that spot. You can see that little spot, where the walls curve up and they curve down. I purposely made it where it was going to fit perfectly in that spot. So this was custom made to be on ships, this particular fireplace.
I like these. These are kind of cool. Are those like the mannequin boxes? And
yes, they are. Yeah, they're display boxes.
Yeah, I like those. Those are really neat.
And if you get up in close and personal to that one, this is really fun. So the little grate that holds the wood, that is the room divider from Madame Sauvage's.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I shrank it down and turned it into, something to hold the wood. And then, people were like, well, you wouldn't have a fire on a ship, and I was like, well, you could have a gas fireplace that would be wired in. And so I have a pipe on the side where it's, wired in or piped in. The flame itself is completely enclosed in glass, so you don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the little decal Oh, another funny thing, on the sides of it, there are little grates, like vents that looks like it's vented. And those vents are the Aquila City air conditioners that I shrank down and pushed in so it looks like a vent. So I did think about all that stuff. I like to make things that are lore friendly,
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's reusing some of these assets in a way you wouldn't think. This is the one that me and Kenny were having a discussion over. But yeah, things you wouldn't think of, that when you can make them change the size of them, they become something different.
Yeah. Oh, this one gave me fits because I had to keep adjusting it. I probably redid the decal on this like 6 times because it kept wanting to show up on the wall in back of it. And so I had to keep adjusting it until it was like a very small, window of space where it would show up. This was the one that gave me fits. I don't know why, but the other one didn't as much. I didn't have as much problem with getting it just right,
With that, the circular almost looks like a navigation sign, that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, if you were to push this one up against the wall, would the Crimson Fleet logo kind of disappear in the wall right behind it? So if you were wanting to use this but not have it be a fleet fireplace, or is that?
Oh, I don't know the answer. I mean, I have one that's just black, so there's one that you could use that doesn't have it.
Oh yeah, that one right there. Okay.
Well, there's this one, and then there's another one that has a black background.
Okay.
This one I really enjoy because like you can see, I put the little mug of coffee on there.
Yep.
So I was able to decorate a little bit. And this one, this is where I use the decals to where you could see the ash, like if you had an outdoor campfire, you'd have ashes around it and stuff. So I really learned a lot about using decals. There's decals. The front, that decoration is also a decal.
Okay.
So that kind of old time Aquila City look.
Yeah.
And what's funny is this is that same greeble that I used on the other fireplace, but I used it much bigger. It's just a lot bigger. And you can see Madame Sauvage's little things.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that one we were just looking at. I went years ago. I went camping with a friend, and we were at one of his friends. It was like a pavilion. It's probably like 12 feet tall, but only had 3 walls and the roof, and the one side was just completely open. And it's just like that all year round. And it's because their family's hunters, and they'll go up hunting for deer in the area and stuff. It's up in southern Oregon. I could see myself using that fireplace to like set up in like a pavilion for what's the background that's the hunter in Starfield, beast hunter. So if I was gonna like role play a beast hunter, I could see myself like landing on a planet like far to the right side of the map where it's all high level monsters, and set that up, and it'd be like kind of like the camping spot where I'm cooking my kills kind of thing, playing that beast hunter role play.
So open up the Sleep Crate Deluxe. I'll talk about that because I had to learn a lot of stuff, how to do stuff on that one. So like I said, my very first mod was doing the Sleep Crate. But what's interesting about the Sleep Crate is that if you look at all the other Sleep Crates that are on that same street, they're all full size. Okay.
Okay.
So this one is the only one that was that little tiny square.
Gotcha.
And so I thought, well, you know what? I want to go ahead and make this full size like the other ones and have it be empty. So, but unfortunately, the box that they used for the other side of the crate had a wall there. So it was a cube, it was a complete cube.
Okay.
And so I had to find, I basically had to build that from scratch, out of wall pieces. And I think I probably restarted that like twice, to find the right piece. And then there's another thing. If you see the little rusty looking piece that's to the right of the door.
That beam like thing.
So, and that was fixing a bug. There was a visual bug where the piece that was there was clear from one side, but opaque on the other side.
Okay.
And so I had to find something to cover it, but something that looked like it fit with the vibe of the space.
Yeah, I would have never known that was not intentional, just as part of the look of the hab. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I learned about this one. I really learned a lot. I learned how to make so there's an activator. So you have the little activator that turns on the building mode, and it's associated with a box, what we call a marker that you can't see except in the CK. And what I did was I had to learn how to make that box bigger. And it was watching a Jay Ramos video that had nothing to do with a player home. He was showing us how to make an activator for a quest. And when he made that box bigger, I was like, oh my gosh, he solved the problem. And so then that was when this came about. That was when I was able to do this. And so I figured out how to make it bigger, and I actually made it where the box went into the street somewhat, so that you can actually decorate the outside of the box. You can even put a little chair by the front door. I even actually managed to squeeze in a pharmaceutical bench outside that looked really fun. It just made it look really fun. So yeah, so you can actually about to the end of that garbage bin. That's about how far out you can decorate.
Okay, so you put a little stuff outside. Okay.
Yep, you can put a chair. I put a chair and a cooler with a beer on it. And what's really fun, what's funny about this particular player home that I really love is that the NPCs will sit in the chair. And if you put a workbench out there, they'll work on it. You'll see them using it.
Will the NPCs interact with your immersive workbenches?
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, they will.
That's one of the things in the Dark Star Total Overhaul. He's got 2 separate sets of workbenches. One that NPCs will interact with, and one that they are banned from. They're not able to interact at all. So depending on what your situation is, you may not want them standing around in your way when you're trying to do stuff, because you don't have room to get around a room. If it's a tight packed room and you've got an NPC in there, you can't get around. You can't move around. You can't get to what you need to get to. So some of those instances, you don't want them in that area.
Well, usually if you just try to use the bench a second time, they'll get out of the way. So I think it's fun to watch the NPCs use the stuff. So that's not an issue for me. But I know where some people would not like that. But I just think it's funny. You'll even sometimes one time you'll even get an NPC sleeping in the bed, which is really funny. You're like, dude, what are you doing in here?
Yeah, you go to your captain's quarters, like the Falkland captain's quarters has a door, and it's like way off to the side. Yeah. And you open it up, and there's Robin, and you're like, "What are you doing in here?"
Well, Robin does what she wants. We already learned that.
Yeah, she's my favorite. She's my favorite NPC so far.
She's your favorite companion. I'm really enjoying Torin. I don't know how far you are in Watchtower, but
I've made it all the way through once, and now I'm on my second playthrough because I never got any of the modules unlocked the first time I played through. I went through too quick.
You know what I figured out about that? So you gotta put EM weapons and then one gun that breaks the shield. And so everyone in my fleet has 2 EM weapons and 1 shield breaking weapon. And the one that seems to work the best is Matilda's. Matilda has one that has like a high shield, damage, but the hull damage is only like 3.
Yeah.
So that's the one I use. It's like really low. And I was able to get all of them last time.
And also, instead of doing you got to do the what's the bartender's name? Where you go and you follow her little single one by one, and you do the smaller race one at a time, rather than fast forwarding through everything, because then you don't have the space battles to salvage the ships.
Right. And then the other trick, if you just have rotten RNG for getting computer cores, there's also the copycat mod. If you're desperate to get computer cores. Oh my gosh. So
yeah, I still haven't even started the Watchtower because my game time kind of comes in spurts, and so I can get a little bit every week, but when I start something new like a major quest line or a major DLC like that or mod, I want to make sure I've got a window cleared and I can focus on that and just really immerse myself in it until I'm done with it.
Yeah. Do you use Xenomaster?
Is that a mod?
Yeah.
No.
Xenomaster is a free mod, although I think there is an achievement-friendly version now.
Okay.
Highly recommend. Now, of course, this is coming from someone who played a pet Sork in Elder Scrolls Online for 9 years. I was always a pet Sork. Like, people kept saying, "Oh, well, Sorks are dead," like, how people say stuff
yeah.
about the different, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm still going to be a pet Sork. And so, basically, I'm a pet Sork now once again with Xenomaster. But there's a thing where if you have a pet Terramorph, and yes, you can have a pet Terramorph, okay, and the pet Terramorph talks to you.
Oh my
When
goodness.
you talk to it, it says, "Yes, master," which makes me laugh. It's just so funny. But the Terramorph will mind control the mechs in Watchtower. And I actually, on my YouTube page, I put up a video of it because I was so surprised that happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what just happened? And the mech got mind controlled and turned around and started firing on the other bad guys. And it was, but it's so fun. I mean, it's so great. So yeah, I highly recommend trying out Xenomaster with Watchtower because they're gonna fix it. They're gonna fix it and make it where they can't be mind controlled.
Well,
I was on one of the those listening posts, and I get out of my ship and I start to wander up over the hill, and I crest the hill, and there's something going on, and I hear a bunch of noise, and I'm like, what's going on? I get closer and closer, and there's a bunch of the xenomorphs. What are the Terramorphs? There was like 4 Terramorphs attacking the Watchtower post.
Yes.
So I just kind of snuck in and sat around the corner and just good.
Yeah.
Watched them
Isn't it funny?
And that was because of the Dark Universe. Is that what it's called? There's a mod that adds
Bedlam, you mean?
Bedlam. That's the one. Yes.
Well, no, that's actually one of the variations of the Watchtower.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it is.
I just assumed it was part Bedlam interacting with Watchtower.
No, it's actually one of the variations.
Okay.
And what's cool is from there's different Terramorphs there every time, so it must be random. But there's always an alpha Terramorph that's the boss. But one time with Xenomaster, I caught an albino Terramorph, which I had never caught before. So I thought that was really fun.
That is cool.
So I wasn't able to catch the boss one because my people were killing it too fast, so I wasn't able to get it. So yeah, so this is but yeah, immersive workbenches, you can just put countertops on one side and you can fit all of the workbenches there. I think I got all of them except for the chem one, and I put the chem one outside the door. And the NPCs will come and work on it, which made me laugh.
The Breaking Bad cart.
Yeah, the Breaking Bad one. Of course. I mean, what's funny is how perfectly it fits in with the vibe of that street.
Oh, totally.
It just totally works.
Yeah, I'm actually starting up a new character soon to go through all the faction quest lines. Well, technically, I already started her. I got her through all of the Neon City things, and so she has the sleep crate. So I haven't even done anything with it yet, but I'm definitely going to go ahead and download this now and put it to use because the whole idea of that character was her job at Argos. I'm just headcanoning that it happens in her future. So
sure.
As soon as I could go straight to Neon and pretend I didn't even have a ship, that's exactly what I did with her. So I got up to about level 12 by the time I finished every quest for her on Neon City. And the finale was doing the Ebside Strikers quest line. And because it's not a long one, but it was kind of a good finale to it. But she got, have you done that one yet?
Have I done
the Ebside Strikers quest line on Neon City?
I want someone to tell me. Oh yeah, I have done Ebside Strikers, but I haven't gotten that mod where it says Ebside is dangerous, and I'm curious about what that would affect this.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a mod that impacted that.
Oh yeah. So what's interesting about this? There's a rule that if you have a paid mod, that you can only use vanilla assets in your photos. So you see that the book every little piece of stuff is hand placed in this picture. Like every single little thing is hand placed because I'm not allowed to use any other mods, only vanilla assets. So
okay.
all of this stuff was that took a long time
Yeah,
to decorate it.
Decorating it all manually.
Yeah, and I totally use when I'm decorating it for myself, I totally use Misso's walls and things, and you know, and the Furnish Your Fleet cabinets and the little cabinets that go above, you know,
Yeah.
for storage and stuff. It looks totally different when I'm allowed to use vanilla assets.
Now, are you?
And I get
You're
all
not
the
even allowed to use your stuff in it?
No.
Wow.
And the reason it's for a good reason. The reason why is you only want to show items that come with it. You know, so if I put a fireplace in there, then someone would think, oh, well, there's a fireplace in there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
Even though it's one of my mods. So I mean it's for a good reason, but it makes it much more challenging to get all the photos. Like I can't even be in the photos because my hair is from Zone 79's mod.
Okay.
So like even my hair, like, or if my character had a beard that was not vanilla, like you can't show that in any of the photos. So in case you're wondering why people make the choices they make with their photos, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So
I remember jumping into the Darkstar chat the Discord one evening, and that was exactly what y'all were talking about. Somebody was showing, hey, I think I'm going to do this, and somebody else was correcting him, going, you can't use that one because you have this thing there. And he's like, oh yeah, I didn't realize.
Well, and it's to the point where, you know, in the education field, we call it best practices. And even if you're only doing free mods right now, it's a best practice not to use, you know, other assets from other people, especially, or if you're going to use it, you should at least ask them.
Yeah.
You know. So, but I try to make them all vanilla assets when I'm taking photos now, just in case I decide, because people will ask me all the time, are you going to make this achievement friendly? You know, I mean, the second I come out with a mod, people ask me that. I've already had people ask me about making immersive workbenches achievement friendly. So even though that was a free mod, I did make sure all the assets were vanilla in the photos, so I don't have to redo it, you know.
Yeah.
So, but if I do make it a paid mod, I'm very, I understand, you know, about value, and I would probably have to add some things to it to make it a paid mod. You know, I would make it different. So I'll have to think about what I want to add. I was going to say probably my most popular mod, I don't know if you guys are using it, but the den under new management.
So you've got two variations.
I do, because people were definitely asking me. This is the one where people were like, "I really would like this to be achievement friendly," and so what happened was, I think this was Christmas break. Okay, I was working on this at Christmas break, so I had done the den under management. There was a Nexus mod that changed the den pretty drastically, like really changed the den. And I loved that mod. I used it and I really enjoyed it, but it was no longer supported. And after us, you know, last spring, there was that update that just kind of broke everyone's mods.
Yeah.
So after that update, I was having trouble with that mod. And so I disabled it and I missed it. I mean, I really missed it. And so what happened, so the story of that mod was, so I really missed it, and I wanted to do something, you know, especially to bring back the workstations, because you know when you first start a new universe, you don't have anything, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's nice to just have a place, and you know the lodge is great, but you have to run all the way through town to get there. It's not like it's not that easy to get there. So I went ahead and did the den under new management. So then I decided, then I got 2 alternate universes in a row. Okay. And the first one I got was Evil Walter, and then I got the Hunter, and they're all dead. Well, you don't really have access to the lodge. And there's a lot of free stuff you get from the lodge.
Mhm.
And if you don't have access to it, it's a real disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did was I wanted to make, and I was going to make this a paid mod. This was going to be like my first paid mod. This one and the Sleep Crate Deluxe pretty much came out at the same time. So I decided I was going to make this equivalent to the lodge. That
Gotcha.
you would get, you have all the workbenches, you would get some free weapons, you can get all of the food is now free. Like you can walk around, pick up all the food. So if you have a mod like the crew eats food, not everyone's not dying until you can, get some money and get some stuff. I put a box by the little pharmaceutical, thing that has free, free little med packs in it, like
Okay.
you would get at the lodge. So it's equivalent, but also, if you can see where the vending machines are, there's a picture that shows like the vending machines. Yeah, you can see the vending machines in this picture. Yeah.
Mhm.
So the vending machines I chose have to do with when you're starting a new character. They're especially if you look at the one, the Canadian goodies, you have to get, and then next to it is, you can't barely see it, but it's the soda machine.
Okay.
So when you're doing the research, when you have a new character and you're doing research, you have to have soda to finish one of them, and you have to have poutine, which is really hard to find. It's really hard to find. So you can go sit at that Canuck and just keep hitting it until you get that poutine.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
So I kind of thought about that kind of stuff. Like, what did I have a hard time getting? And poutine, and it was the rhubarb soda you have to have, so you can get those. This I also added it's not unlimited storage, but it's 20,000 storage. So that's, you can, if you're doing McLarens, and you know how you end up with all these weapons, and it takes a while. You have to get pretty far through the quest before you can, give him legendary weapons. So you can store all those weapons here, and that's why I put it in. I had tons of weapons for McLarens, and I didn't know what to do with them. So I made this like a huge amount of storage so that you could pack them in there, and then when it gets to the point where Buster can take weapons, you can just go get them all and go take them to Buster. So that's what I did. And what's funny is every choice I made in my mods is because it's something that I wanted to see in the game, because I play the game. So all those, there is gear there on the little racks, and once you take it, you can put items there and it's safe. It won't go away.
Okay.
So, and then there's a bed there. So if you don't, if you play pretty vanilla and you don't, you can sleep 48 hours and then get up and go talk to Marcel again, sell some more stuff. That's why I wanted a bed.
Yeah, I go to the den a lot for that reason, because of you don't get scanned going into the the system.
Look at the picture with the UC that has the UC on it. Okay. So some of the if you walk around and you read all the slates, so I added some lore to it. And so the idea being that yes, Walter upgraded the den, but he did it half-assed. I mean, he's kind of like, he did it, he bought some UC surplus, stuff that was on sale or whatever. And so one of the mannequins that he chose is making like a sexy pose.
Yeah.
And so Orville's really mad about that, and so there's lore slates around if you read that little saga. And he also, there's a Terror Brew vending machine, but he was like, who wants just vending machine coffee? So he put in a Terror Brew kiosk downstairs, and he can't figure out why that he's only made 17 credits more than the vending machine, and why would people want to do that? I mean, so it's really funny if you go around and read the little lore slates. There's some lore I added to it.
I got a chuckle out of your slate that you added about how Orville was offended by the sexy pose. It
Right.
Must be a mannequin that he's picked up trying to, blow shade at Walter for
Yeah,
using.
he was obviously a Pre-Star sympathizer. Yeah, so
That's pretty good. That's pretty good writing. I liked it.
Well, that was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Sweet Pea, for joining us on this episode of the Starfield Report podcast. And let's see, the mod you're working on is the modular. That's the next one we can look forward to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
it's called Tailored Spaces, and it's gonna be at least 200 pieces of custom furniture.
Nice.
So
nice. Yeah, and I love my shipbuilding. I'm definitely a shipbuilder, so I'll definitely be putting a lot of that on my ships. So thank you so much for joining us. Jax, any final words?
Well, really enjoyed having you with us today. I appreciate you coming on and sharing with us. And all my captains out there, just remember, drive fast, take lots of chances.
Thank you for having me.
All right, and we will see you guys in the Starfield.
Now that was some fine work under pressure.
Get out of here, Dusty. You're on to bigger things.